Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you tonight for this movie review for another 2024 movie for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire that I got a chance to check out for myself to see what I was going to think of this film overall. So I'm going to discuss what I watched for this hour and 56 minutes of a movie and let you know my thoughts on the sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife. So let's dive into Ghostbusters Frozen Empire movie review. Now, basically, with what I watched with this film, it's basically the premise is about this certain entity or a ghost called Garaka, or some kind of spirit that's trapped inside this magical ball or whatever, and basically it gets released into New York City and basically frees all the ghosts. So it's a very powerful entity, and the only thing that can contain it is a fire master. And to be honest, some of the script is kind of watered down and not in a good way. I wouldn't say this is one of the worst films, but it's not one of the best films I've seen as a Ghostbuster movie. I think it's okay. For what it went for, there were some moments I liked and some moments where I was like, the negatives outweigh the positives in a way. There's a few good positives. The action sequences are pretty strong, but it's just the character Phoebe makes friends with a ghost in this film, and it's like McKenna Grace, I think, makes friends with a ghost in this, and I wasn't feeling for this movie too much. It was kind of meh. I think Ghostbusters Afterlife was better. At least they had the old cast in it. Ernest Hudson. Then you have pretty much Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd in it. Harold Ramis, they only dedicated him in the last film, Afterlife, which was a good film, for sure, a pretty strong film. This film is a lot weaker when it comes to a standalone movie itself. I mean, some of the premise is slightly interesting, and then it's not. Like, you get moments where the action sequences are probably the strongest parts of the movie, but the script is kind of watered down in a way. So, I wouldn't say this is one of my favorite films, but it's an okay watch. It's not anything great. So, I think if I were to give this movie a score, I would have to give it a 6.5 out of 10. It's okay. It's watchable and not watchable at times. Like, there's some moments where the decision making in this is not very good from McKenna Grace's character Phoebe in this, and you see a lot more decision making from her than you do with Finn Wolfhard. They didn't work on the characters too well with this movie, and I was sadly disappointed with this film in a way. There's some strong characters, like Paul Rudd's character actually had some good moments in this film, but it's just the negatives outweigh the positive in a way, so it's kind of okay of a watch, but it's not very good. So pretty much with what I've seen with this film, sorry about the background noise. With what I've seen with this film, I gotta say, I'm very disappointed in a way. I wouldn't say this is the worst film of the year, but it's an okay film. It's not something I'd come back to as the year goes on. So 6.5 out of 10 for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I think the story kind of was watered down and just didn't really pique my interest too much. And there are some moments where it was good. Patton Oswalt was in this movie too, and I was like, his character was But yeah, with Finn Wolfhard and just the other girl that he's with, Lucky or whatever, she her character wasn't bad. She actually put on a solid performance, but everything else about the movie, with the character Phoebe trying to, I guess there was a love connection between that Melody girl and Phoebe, and pretty much with what I've seen with this film, I gotta say I'm sadly disappointed. So pretty much 6.5 out of 10 for Ghostbusters Afterlife. It's an okay film, but it's not anything I'm gonna remember. And with that being said, thanks for watching this movie review tonight.